Hey everybody, we're the Cannon Cruisers. I'm JD and this is Randy.
I'm Randy.
That's who he is. And today we're talking about a great film called Breakin.
Breakin apostrophe.
There's no G in Breakin.
No
That's
G.
important. You have to remember that. This is a dancing movie. That's all we've got for you.
That's the plot synopsis of the film. I'll elaborate a little bit more on it. It follows the same plot, the well-worn plot of girl meets boy, boy meets girl, they dance a lot, and that's basically Breakin.
Breakin is a dancing movie, and it's one of the... I don't want to say it first because there's been obviously other ones like Saturday Night Fever. Everybody remembers Saturday Night Fever? Yep. You can start dancing now. So Randy, who's in the movie?
Well, we'll start from the very top. So this film is directed by... Well, this film was released in 1984.
1984, yes.
Directed by Joel Silberg. Written by Charles Parker and Alan DeBeauvoir. And starring Lucinda Dickey as our main character. Kelly, a.k.a. Special K.
I think that's what the guitarist from Fishbone got his name by. The way.
I think so, yeah. You have Adolfo Shabadoo Quinones as Ozone. And Michael Boogaloo Shrimp Chambers, who plays Turbo. And then, well, I guess as your main antagonist is Franco, a traditional dance choreographer who really is very traditional. This is what dance is. Played by Ben Loki. And pleasantly enough, Christopher McDonald in a role where he's not evil.
Yes.
Playing Kelly's agent.
By far the best actor
James,
in the movie.
But more on that later.
So
that's really all you really know. You have Dickey, Shabadoo, and Boogaloo Shrimp in this film.
And with that, we should get to the trailer.
Yeah, with that mess of a plot synopsis, let's get to the trailer.
Breakin', and you just don't stop. Here comes the movie that's fresh and hot, with high energy, dancing to the beat with a scratch mix sound that comes from the street. This movie is unique.
You've got the talent. She ain't no street dancer.
So go and tell your peers, the movie you long for is finally here. With action, style, and beautiful girls. People don't procrastinate, see the show, don't hesitate.
And we're back to talk about Breakin' and our impressions of it.
What did you think of this film, JD?
I liked that Ice-T was in it and he was rapping. I liked the music.
Oh man, yeah, that was a cameo and a half, which apparently, as we just found out beforehand,
if you're just looking for a movie where people dance and you want to enjoy the music and see people dancing, there's really nothing to throw you off of this movie. That's what it gives you. So if that's what you like, go nuts.
It's what it says on the tin.
It's exactly what it says it's going to be, and that's what it does. This isn't the Apple. You're not going to sit there and get, what am I listening to?
And I'm going to say something very controversial here, but the acting may have actually been better in the Apple, in some cases, than in this film.
But there were actual actors in the Apple. That's the difference.
So my impression of this film is that terrible acting. You can obviously tell that they're dancers.
Mm-hmm. That's why
Except Lucinda Dickey was kind of, if you see her like trying to get her.
That's why she started in other films after
this. But you could very obviously tell that these weren't trained actors, but they could dance.
Yes, they could. That's why they're hard.
And overall, the movie, it's plot-wise is very forgettable. It's very bog standard. It's like music is the music you're to hear for breakdancing for the 80s.
I can understand at the time why there weren't any actors who could breakdance like this and act at the time, because this is when breakdance came about.
But
so it's understandable.
But the movie, for all these flaws that I'm pointing out, terrible script, it's charming.
Yes,
it's a very charming film.
It's a strange film.
And as much as I made fun of a lot of the movie as I'm watching it, it just, I'm sitting there like, this is an overall enjoyable film. It's just that it's a bad film, but it doesn't take away its enjoyability.
I don't want to make sure to point this out, because I don't usually think this way about movies. I don't think this is one of those so bad it's good movies, because I don't really have those. I just enjoyed it, and I know it's not good, but I didn't ironically enjoy it. I enjoyed it for what it was trying to do.
No, it was good. It was good despite its flaws, or in spite of its flaws, maybe. Maybe
a bit of both. I don't think it could have been the same enjoyability if it was. I don't know if it would have been as memorable if it was done better. If it had better acting and a stronger plot, I don't think it would have made much of a difference, really. This movie mostly exists for breakdancing. They made the movie to capitalize on breakdancing. That's why it was the first one out the gate. That's why there's no real actors with experience who know how to break dance yet. And that's why the movie came out as quick as it did, and that's why the sequel was made as quick as it did, which we will cover in another episode.
And I'm amazed by how much more modern movies that are in this dance film genre will follow more the formula in Breakin than they would in something like Saturday Night Fever, or it's like it follows more this than that.
They're also a lot more polished in this movie, and I think that kind of takes away from the charm of it. Because when you're looking at something that polished, where everybody's dancing in synchronization, it kind of takes you out of it a bit, I guess. This one, you never really felt like... I mean, sure, the acting wasn't good or anything, but the actual dancing didn't.
To put it this way, JD, you did spend a large portion of the movie only half paying attention to it as you read a book, because the plot really isn't there. But you put your head up, oh, here's a good song, I'll watch them as they dance.
I could listen in the background and still know what was going on, because the plot, like I said, is not why I was watching it. I enjoyed it for the dancing.
So, do you have any highlights in the film?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I just said it was Ice-T, because he was there and he was rapping and he was great. I like old school rap before gangsta crap. I don't like gangsta rap. Sorry if that offends anybody, but I hate it. Old school rap, I like stuff like Run DMC, Houdini, the Fat Boys, and this was just in that style, and it was perfect for me. It was the music for me that I really enjoyed.
Any specific scenes other than just the character that stood out for you?
The scene at the end where the bad guy basically throws a tantrum, and the judge basically says, "Get out of here! I don't care about you. Go away." That's the whole scene made me laugh. Just the delivery was hilarious.
Yeah, my highlight of the film literally is that him get Mr. Lockie. Did I say Lockie or Lockley? Lockie. Which I just realized that his... Oh, yeah, no, that's Loki is the name of the actor. Franco. Mm-hmm. So Franco gets his comeuppance at the end when they basically barge their way into a audition for a larger competition. Mm-hmm. Dressed up to the nines, not in any streetwear, just like black tie, like white tie, black suits, like very much traditional dancers. And then when they're kicked out because they're street dances, we don't like their kind here, then they start tearing it, like the stripper suits start tearing it apart, and then they start dancing, and you can see these stuffy old judges really getting into it, going, and you can, literally that little sequence where it's like, no, stamp foot. I hope that picks up on there. I want it to. Jeez. Stamp foot. And he goes, I'm gonna draw myself out of the competition. We had a deal. And the winner goes, yes, we'll talk about later. Now move out of the way. I want to watch them dance.
That was one of the funniest parts.
And then he just stomps out of there.
Actually, any scene where Franco gets his comeuppance is hilarious, because Franco is a real... he's a real jerk, and nobody likes him at all. Which
leads to my other highlight. Seeing Christopher McDonald act in a role where he's not a bad guy was surprising. It was actually kind of cool. I hope it wasn't asleep for too long. Because, it was just a nice little surprise to see him in a movie where he's not just playing the jerk. He was playing a good guy.
Yes, he was. And he was a good actor as usual.
And also, I wanted to bring this up because I found it cool, is they ran with this thing where they obviously, Ozone liked Kelly. Mm-hmm. And Kelly maybe, but they completely went past the romantic subplot that you would normally get in these films. She's from the upper class, he's from the lower class. How can they ever meet in the middle? And they just were friends overall.
I think it was probably a good thing they didn't do that. I don't think the two of them had that kind of chemistry to make that work.
It didn't need the relationship drama that a lot of these movies will get. You didn't have any of the misunderstanding after misunderstanding.
No, you're there for the dancing, and that's what they gave you.
So what did you hate about the film? What was your low light?
I would have to say it's probably just the acting in general.
I totally agree with you. When half the line readings come out like this...
Look, I can understand that these weren't actors, but there's still, get an acting coach, please.
It's I like the part where one of the characters, whose name is Cupcake, who's a very important part of the opening part of the film, completely disappears. Which I think would, if he was in the film the whole time, I think the director realized his limitations, the writer realized his limitations, because he was the worst actor in the film.
Yes, that would have been very distracting to have him be in the majority of the movie.
But he was the worst actor in the film.
Oh, there's not even a question of it. The only, I think, good actor was Christopher McDonald.
Oh my god, breaking news.
What?
You remember how you were saying, okay, so people, you weren't there with us, but while you're watching the movie, I paused it at a moment to go make some tea, and came back, and JD sat there going, is that Jean-Claude Van Damme in the background? Mm-hmm. No, he wasn't really over here, he'd be in Brussels. According to Wikipedia, Jean-Claude Van Damme was in that scene in an uncredited cameo.
That was him. I knew it. I called it.
As a background dancing spectator.
He was scoping it out. This is going to be blood sport. I can't wait. And neither can I, folks, to tell you the truth.
So so the low light of the film, to go back to what actual section we're up to, yeah, the acting is awful.
Yeah, no question.
The plot is cliched beyond belief.
There's no surprises here.
There is no surprises.
You know what you're getting when you get into
Like I said, it's what it says on the tin. This is a dance film.
And if that's what you're here for, then that's what you're gonna get.
So to move on, to move this thing along. Oh wait, I want to go back to highlights for a moment. The part where the dude during a for some reason a fight scene at an outdoor country food place.
Oh, I forgot that scene. Yes.
For some reason, there's a brawl, and the guy just literally stands up and punches his friend in the back of the head.
Wait, set it up first. There's always a scene in these movies where the protagonists go out of their way after training. It's always after training, and they meet these strangers who challenge them. And usually, it's in whatever video games, dancing, whatever it is. They usually fight them. In this case, they went to a country bar and met a couple outdoor country bar. And they got into a scuffle, and
you think
two guys right next to each other just like hanging out, and they're teasing these guys because
you think you're about to get line dancing versus breakdancing. He even throws a nickel at him, and it's like okay,
here we go.
It's like, oh, they're about to dance, and then he pushes him. The guy, the redneck, goes to punch and misses, punches somebody else, and an all-out brawl breaks out.
But the best part about that whole brawl is the guy next to him at the table, who was his friend who was just talking to him, gets up out of the table and just walks over to his friend and punches him in the face. And
no, he punches him in the back of the head.
No, he punches him in the face.
Oh, no, that was the other one. Okay.
That was the other guy. He literally gets him. There's no... Why did he do that? They were just talking to each other and they were friends. And all of a sudden he's fighting his friend. Why?
And then the Breakin crew, the TKO, Turbo, Special K, and Ozone all run out of there without paying.
Yes, and all you see is people getting thrown through tables.
It was a ridiculous thing. I had to jump back. That was the highlight that just popped in my head.
You probably could have cut it out of the movie, but I'm glad they didn't.
It was a surprising, delightful little weird scene.
It was a great scene.
So now to get back on track. Now moving right along. What would you score this film?
That's actually a tough one.
Better than The Apple?
Oh, it's definitely better than The Apple. My problem with the scoring it is I'm not exactly sure what I think I would give it. Because I might look back on it and say, maybe I should have given it this instead. My scores are not just on objective quality. They're also on whether I enjoyed a film or not.
That is literally how I score a film. Is, did I enjoy this? Yes,
and
no,
the problem with this movie is, even though there are a lot of problems with it, I actually did enjoy it. So I think I'm going to have to give it a 3.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to.
Despite its flaws, despite everything
in spite of the movie itself, it's like it's fighting me like it... No, you have to rate this low, but I can't. I actually did like it. That's the problem.
Yeah, you'll be pleasantly surprised. I give it a 3 too. It's because it's such a charming film.
Yes,
it's very charming. The dances are fun. The singing, the singing, even the rapping, the music chosen. It's all fun.
Mm-hmm. It's a movie I could just sit back and watch.
Yeah, it's like I'm not going to go out of my way to ever see this again, but to use that thing that has been popping up because it's a weird thing that doesn't really exist anymore, you millennials. The Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, rainy day film on television.
That's one.
This is one that I'll be like, hey, Breakin's on. I don't mind watching that in the background.
Or if I was like, let's say, raiding an old DVD bin and I saw it for $2, like, oh, okay.
Or yeah, it's like it's not a bad film. It's not a masterpiece. It's also objectively, it's like, is this better than my other 2-star ratings? Mm-hmm. Yes, this is better than my other 2-star ratings. And notice I'm not giving any saying like, well, I have to split the difference because we don't do half steps here. No, this is a proper 3 movie. This is it's an okay film.
Yeah, this is definitely 3.
It's like, it's not one where like I like it. This is an okay film. It's like, this is.
Yes, this movie was a success when it came out, and I think I know why. Obviously, it's because it was done well enough, and it came out right at the time of the breakdance craze hit. And it made a lot of money for Canon, and it made a lot of headway, I think, in making this type of stuff more popular. Because Breakin, for a long time, was a big thing. I mean, it's not... it's no Electric Boogaloo, which is a whole other thing we're going to get to later in this season. But this was the one that was popular. There were other dancing movies at the time. I can't remember some of the names.
Beat Street!
There's one of them. But they
which they were actually rushing to get it out of the door before Beach Street was released.
Yes, it beat it out the door, and it beat it in profits as well.
So if you want a fun little fact regarding profits, the budget of the film was $1.2 million. Mm-hmm. Would you like to hazard a guess how much money it made back in its box office?
No.
Not lifetime total, just like its box office.
I'd say at least twice that.
$38.7 million US.
It was a huge hit. See, while Canon operated a specific way where they would parse out how to make a budget, how to spend it on the film, and how to make just enough profit so that they can get to the next film in their catalog, Breakin' was one of the last huge hits Canon made where they got pure profit out of it. Every other film they did, they made just enough in the cinema so that they broke even and made it back huge on video every time, because Canon was gigantic on video. So you can imagine how much Breakin' made on video as well as cinema. It was a big deal for them.
And also, just to break format really briefly, so the actor who played Cupcake, we call him Cupcake because that's what she called him, but his name's Adam, was played by Phineas Newborn III. That doesn't really mean anything. I just wanted to put it in there to give him his props that he was noticeably missed after he disappeared at the beginning.
Yeah, he was. Even though,
actually, he was the worst actor, but it was charming. Everything he said was charming. So yeah, it's like this, as you were saying, they're one of their most profitable films at the end, and this was right before. History fact here: before they dissolved their partnership for distribution with MGM and United Artists.
As I've said, Canon had a reputation at the time, and it was hard for them to shake it, even though they did put out some good movies. But they were smart, at least at this point in time, in that they knew how to make a movie, sell it to an audience, and make just enough that they could go to the next movie, but that movie would still make money for them on home video. And since they were the only production company, they didn't have to split the profits. Because as you can imagine if they didn't have to split it on Breakin', they might have been around a lot longer than they were. But that's enough about that. It's been a long enough episode as it is.
Which is surprising. I don't know what length we're at here, but it's surprising that we were able to talk this much on Breakin'. And we apologize if we're a little all over the place.
I wasn't expecting to talk this much about Breakin', honestly, but it's I recommend seeing it, especially if you like dancing.
Yeah, give it a watch. It's like there's a reason why this has popped up in popular culture, why you see references to this. But there's also a reason why you see more to Electric Boogaloo, the sequel, because it has that great title.
And just wait till we get to that one. All right, guys, that was a fun time we had on Breakin', but next time we're going to talk about probably something a bit more, it's not going to be a dancing movie, let's put it that way. We have a preliminary list of movies we go through, and if we can't find it or get a hold of it, we skip to the next one and put the other ones on, when we get to it, we'll get to it, if we can.
That's why, as you go through our playlist, you start seeing more and more non-canon side projects, because we start running out of canon films to find.
Yes. This whole season is going to basically end with 1984 canon films, because that's the best place to end it. And after that, almost every season fills out a year.
Yeah, because we've been trying to shoot for 22, 23 episodes, 26 episodes max, but that's been proving difficult.
Yeah. So whatever it ends up being is what it ends up being. So anyway, guys, we'll see you next time. I'm JD.
And I'm Randy.
And we were the Cannon Cruisers, and we'll be back next time.
And we are the Cannon Cruisers.
We were and we are.
And we'll always will be?
I hope so. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Don't be mistaken, you've got to see Breakin'.